Coach Jay here with Coach Jay Running. One of the things that a lot of us have problems with when we're trying to train, trying to run, is plantar fasciitis. And it can come up and get you at any point in the season. And even if you're just starting out, maybe you have never run, but you're wanting to, it can stop you before you even get going. So I'm going to do a 6-part series on how to take care of plantar fasciitis, what to do. So part 1, we're going to talk about resting it. A lot of people and a lot of internet websites will say that you need to ice your foot 2 times per day and use a roller, an ice bottle to roll it. If you actually do the most current research, Dr. Merkin, the doctor that started rest, ice, compression, elevation, says do not ice unless you're within 6 hours of the initial injury. It actually slows down the healing process. The reason you would ice is if the pain is just unbearable and you want to numb it. But basically you're icing just to numb it. So ice your foot 2 times per day, 10 minutes each time within the first, I say 72 hours. And then after that you want to heat it. And you want to heat it and elevate it at the same time. What that does is it gives fresh blood going to the area by elevating it and heating it, but also the elevating drains the inflammation and the blood that you want out of there. So you get a nice blood exchange when you elevate and heat. And you can do that 2 to 3 times per day and 12 minutes at a time. So you can use a heating pad, one of those bottles that you fill up with hot water, or another option is just stick your foot in a warm bath for 10 minutes and then elevate it for 10 minutes after. That's another option if you don't have a heating pad or one of those bottles that you put hot water in. Next, if you can, take 2 to 3 days in a row and treat your body like it's sick. Treat it like if you had a head cold or something and you just rested for a couple days. That seems to help me if I catch my plantar fasciitis flaring up right away, and I take even a day or two, seems to sometimes just totally get rid of it. And then last thing is, do not walk barefoot while that foot's hurting. You need a supportive sandal or a sandal that has an arch in it, but that arch needs to match your foot. So I would definitely suggest going to a store, a running specialty store. If you're local in Northwest Georgia, you can come to GoGo and we can find out which sandal works best for you. And always, that's the end of part 1. Always feel free to email me and ask questions, and I'm happy to help out any plantar fasciitis issues, training questions, or to get you started on your next training plan.